Hi, Steve Saylor here. I wanted to give a quick little mini accessibility review of Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection on the PS5, which includes Uncharted 4 Thieves End and Uncharted Lost Legacy. Now, if you're looking for any additional accessibility on these games or hoping for any additional accessibility when they've remastered these for the PS5, unfortunately, you're not going to get much here. If you're hoping for Last of Us 2 type accessibility improvements from Naughty Dog, you're not getting this here. That's not saying that the games aren't accessible, because if you think back on Naughty Dog's history, a lot of the accessibility improvements that were put into Last of Us 2 were actually started in Uncharted 4 Thieves End and continued on in Lost Legacy. So the same accessibility that are in those games do come into play here on the PS5 editions. It's just for the PS5 editions, there's not really anything additional more that's being added. The game looks great, and you can be able to play it at a persistent frame rate, which is awesome, but the game kind of already really looked great to begin with, so unless you're really looking super close or really analyzing the two versions, you're really not going to see a huge amount of difference quality-wise, because the games looked gorgeous in even of itself. The only two additional kind of options in accessibility, quote-unquote, that are there that I noticed, at least in the menus, is that there is a persistent center dot, which puts a little center reticule dot in the center of the screen that does help for cognitive disabilities, and also mono audio, which can help for those who are deaf and hard of hearing that may have a sort of deaf and hard of hearing in one ear and maybe not necessarily the other, or have a kind of a sort of a spectrum of hearing from one ear and the other, so this can be able to help in that regard. But all it really does offer you is just kind of be able to turn mono audio on or off. Speaking of audio, if you want to be able to at least utilize the new 3D audio dual, the 3D audio headset, does work, and it works great. The 3D spatial audio is amazing on it. Being able to play the game on a DualSense controller with the haptic feedback is good, but the trouble is that unfortunately there are certain, there's only one slider to be able to adjust the haptic feedback instead of sort of very specific haptic feedback for certain things. So stuff like explosions and stuff that are happening around you, while feel great, unfortunately, when it's sort of raining, it can get a little distracting with when it's sort of feeling in your hand, when you feel like raindrops kind of hitting your controller, which is not a bad thing necessarily, but for those who find haptic feedback distracting on the controller, it can be really intense, a little bit more, and you can be able to adjust the intensity of it, but it's really just one slider to be able to adjust. That's kind of really it for my little mini review. Yeah, I would definitely recommend, hey, if you're able to play these games before and you have a PS5, upgrade, because it's pretty good. If you had issues playing the games before on a PS4, then I probably wouldn't recommend these for you. So that's it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.